Yeah, okay. So, welcome everybody to my section of the Virtual Doll Convention. I'm Jenna Pang and I'm here in England joining you. So, it's all very exciting. And I'm here with Rachel on speakerphone because our connection is not so good with Wi-Fi and cellular. So, we've had a few hiccups, but we're here. And I'm here to talk to you about artist bears or miniature bears. My miniature artist bears, one of my favourite things to collect. So here are a few, and Rachel is now with us, so she can talk to me and talk to you as well. But you won't see her on screen, but you'll hear her voice. So she's
Hi,
with us.
everybody. Hello, everybody out there. Thank you for bearing with us. We're so excited to be here with Jenna. Jenna, you have been a collector for a long time, and the first time we met you was in the virtual convention.
Right, yes, that's right.
The first virtual convention, and we talked a lot about artist bears, but you're back to show us mini artist bears.
That's right.
Small ones.
So when I first started to collect bears, it was in 2002, and I went to the local teddy bear shop, and they only had modern branded bears of Steiff and Hermann. There was quite a few other brands, such as Steiner from Germany as well. They were very cute looking bears, but they were all manufactured bears. And it was only when I was having a conversation with a bear artist called Gregory Gillenship of Hugo's House that he mentioned to me about Huglets and the fact that there were artist bears. And this was something new to me because the local teddy bear shop wasn't interested in anything like that. They didn't stock any artist bears. They only stocked their branded bears. And what I mean by branded bears is, for example, if I take one of these here, you can see these are bears by Steiff. There we go. You can see them there. If I put them right up close, you can see the details of them. Their finish. So as you can see, they're manufactured. They've got their buttons in their ears. They are all movable with their joints and arms and heads. So that's the cute thing about them. They've got pretty cute faces and they're a little short and dumpy. So as you can see, these are the modern bears that I was referring to. Now, if I look down here, these are Hermann miniature bears. Again, a brand of bear, but manufactured. And they're around, they've got a little chest tag on. I think he was about £17 or £20 or something like that. Perhaps even just slightly more. Whereas the Steiff, something like him, was about £40 or £50 or £60. So quite a difference in price. But what are you actually getting for that when you look at them? If you look at the details. You see? Yes, they're jointed and they're movable. Yep. But the level of finish of them is not quite the same as an artist bear. And what I mean by that is that when I went to Huglets and I was looking around at the things that were there, the very first artist bear that caught my attention was a miniature bear. I walked around the big hall. For me, it was terribly excited. I've never seen a bear show before. And here we are in a virtual doll convention, and bears as well. But to somebody that had never been to a bear show, it was really eye-opening, very, very exciting. And I was so amazed at thousands of bears there, all shapes and sizes. And it was these miniature bears that really caught my heart and my attention, really, because they were so very sweet. Now, if I take, for example, this is a bear. It is not the very first bear that I bought. I'm going to show you one of the very first bears that I bought. But this is Cinny Baby number 2. Why he's called number 2 is because number 1 was lost. Poor little Cindy Baby number 1. And as you can see, the details of Cine Baby are completely different to a manufactured bear. It's absolutely exquisite work. He's a centre seam bear, so there's his seam across the top there, as you can see. Look at his little nose stitching. Can you believe that? Now, he looks very big when he's close to the camera because I'm right here. But look at that nose stitching. Now look at the paws. All jointed. I love the way that his head flops. See? He's like an old bear, and he's made from vintage materials. There are two artists that I really love to collect. Paula Strethill-Smith of Schultz Characters, and her husband Simon also is a maker and does the shoes of the bears and clothes and things like that, and helps with designing of patterns. And Elizabeth Leggett. And again, exquisite detail of what they do. Elizabeth of Beth Bears, and she's in Scotland. And this is a teddy baby. I've got a big teddy baby behind me who wanted to join us. And I've got a miniature teddy baby here who's very cute. And you can see he's got the bell. And he's basically similar on miniature scale. And why I started collecting these miniature bears from artists was the exquisite detail, as you can see. Absolutely beautiful. And people don't realise the hours that go into making these miniatures and the refinedness of doing so. I would be hopeless at making a bear. I've never tried it, and I don't want to try it. I just prefer to collect. But I appreciate all the details that go into making it that I've learned from the artists when I talk to them about it. And the fact is they have to do a pattern. They cut out the pattern after they've designed it. Then they have the material. They choose the material. And they sew the bears inside out. I didn't know that. But they sew it inside out so you don't see the stitching. And then the difficult thing is, on such a miniature scale, now, when I'm talking about miniature, have a look at these little ickle, wickle, little bears. Look at that. Tiny, 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 tiny. Sitting, they must only be an inch. Look at them. Look at that. Well, this is by Terry Umler. I hope I've said her name correctly. Louise Pears, the little pink one. So cute. And this is by Britta Uhlenhoff of Nugget Bears. So cute. Look at his little face. That's what I'm talking about. The details. The eyes. The little claws. Now he is only tiny, and I really mean tiny. Look. That's the size of my thumb. He's the size of my thumb. Look. There you go. But look at the sweet face. The details, very difficult. Very difficult to capture. But they managed to do it. And you think, wow, amazing. And on this scale, turning inside out. Big problems sometimes when you're turning. Because, and when you're stuffing as well. Because if you stuff too hard or you turn, you rip the material. So, big hat off to all these miniature teddy bear artists out there. I really appreciate the good job and the artistry. And I do say that, the artistry of what they do. Oh, look at that. Cutie wootie. Look, that's right, sit on the stife. There we are. Ha! So, these are what I'm talking about. That's why I just absolutely love miniature bears. And why I also love them is that you can take them around with you. So, I started collecting the miniatures, and I'm going to show you some of them. These are just a few of them that I have here on the table, but I like taking them out with me. Because they're so small, you can put them in a bag of bears. A bag of bears? You can put them in a bag, like this. Like this. Cute. Cutie one. I've got another one I'll show you, which was made for me. And they're so small you can put them in and then you can take them with you. So I take them travelling, I take them to lunch. I love taking them to afternoon tea. I've got friends who collect miniatures as well. and we go to afternoon tea together, and we sit them round where all the cakes and the teapots and everything, and they're so cute because they're on that miniature scale, and the cakes are so pretty and the sandwiches are so pretty, and they all sit together. And even if I just go to afternoon tea by myself or with my family, little bears always sit along with us. So, and they sort of, every meal I go to basically, I'll have a little bear having dinner with me. See, but these are artists, but these are modern Steiff. But look, vintage Steiff, pretty details. This is a little teddy baby. See, cute, big teddy baby, little teddy baby, mini me, and again, glass eyes, but you kind of get a bit of a dumpy look. Tiny, but not so dumpy. More exquisite, see? Very sweet. So, there are so many different artists out there as well. So I wanted to introduce them to you. The Herman ones, which are manufactured, I have a range like this, but they also had a slightly bigger range, which I thought were very cute. So, have a look. He's a clown.
He's so cute.
There's a set of 3.
I love them.
They're instrumentalists and they're clowns. This one's got an accordion. But they're great characters, and they're so cute on a miniature scale. That's what I love about them. And they actually sit on my piano. I have some bears which are instrumentalists or musician bears, which I also collect. And I have them all on the piano. Either they have a piano, or they're holding a violin or something like that. And I absolutely adore those. And I've been very lucky. People are very generous to me, and for example, these beautiful little bears here from Terry Umler were a gift. She sent me 4 little cuties. There's another one here. A lovely lady from Poland made this and gave it to me. Now that's cute. I can't help but...
That's so cute.
That's really cute. And I think there's...
The colours are wonderful.
Yeah, the red is very vivid. Now, there's another one here. Look, here he is. These are like the old-fashioned all-in-one teddy bears that you give to children when they're babies, you know. But these are fun, and so when I take pictures of the food and my bears, I have these ones in particular photobombing, because they're so stiff. They look like aeroplanes. Yeah. They come in and photobomb. So they're hilarious. So each one has character, and this is Panda by Elizabeth Leggett, and this is Panda Boo by Paula Strethill Smith. Actually, I used to joke and call this one Cyclops Panda, because his eye fell out and was missing, and so he only had one eye until Elizabeth fixed him. But this exquisite little one is by a German artist, Heidi. Now I've got to get her name right. I think it's Dienstag. But I've got 1 or 2 of her little ones, and you know, really cute little work details. Now look at those paws. Look at those paws. Can you see those paws?
With the little nails.
Yes,
so
yes, that's right. There you go. You can see the details. And that's what I'm saying to you. On a miniature scale, these sorts of details are very difficult to do. This is another of hers, Heidi Dienstag. Oops, poor little one, sorry. A little polar bear. Now this has got but with an open face. Not open face, open mouth. Oops, not open face. Open mouth. There you go. Can you imagine doing open mouth on such a miniature scale? It's amazing. But look, he's got such a lovely smile. Such a lovely smile.
Oh, I love it.
So, but as you can see, the majority of these don't wear clothes, but they do on a miniature scale. So, for example, in my little shopping trolley, this was Tinsel. He's a Christmas bear. In fact, he had a Christmas hat on and And he's wearing a little jacket. A lot of these miniatures are made from antique mohair, and people like Paula Stretchell Smith and Beth Leggett, they source the vintage materials, and they'll make the clothes of vintage materials as well. So, I mean, again, really sweet looking face, really sweet looking face there. This one is one of my latest. So, miniature, still quite small. Obviously not so small as to be this big and the size of my thumb. But, again, fantastic clothing. And a cute size. Love those blue suede shoes. Look at those.
Oh, he's wonderful.
And they've
Jena,
got...
at what point did they change from miniature to like what you consider a full-size bear?
Well, I still consider this little one miniature.
Okay.
I mean, he's a little bit bigger, but he's not so big. I would sort of say 8 inches, maybe 6 inches above is what I would say is not miniature anymore.
Okay.
I mean, I'm no expert. I'm just a collector. I don't think there is a classification of exactly what is miniature size upwards. But
you're an expert to us. You're amazing. This is so neat.
no, I just collect. I'm not an expert. I just collect. I think as a collector, you become more discerning and you want to learn about what you're collecting. And I think if you don't learn about your collecting, then you're not a collector because you don't know what you're collecting.
Yes.
And it's true. It's true. It doesn't matter what you collect, but you've got to know about what you're collecting, how it's made. It's the same as my students who are pianists. I say to them, you know how to play, but you need to know your instrument. You need to know how it works in order to get what you want out of it. And you have to know how to use your body to do it. Well, it's the same when you're a collector. You have to appreciate how it's made, the difficulties, the artistry, as I always say. And I find it amazing that people can create such beautiful things from just cloth and cotton and a bit of stuffing and a few joints, and then they've got an incredible, beautiful little bear. I mean, look at this little one. Love that face. He's called Tickerton, and he's a forget-me-not bear. So I think the Forget-Me-Not sisters, there were 4 sisters, and he's by Liz Wiltshire, one of the sisters. And for me, he was always, I think her bears for me were always more sought after out of the 4. Maybe I shouldn't say that, oops. But they always had such sweet faces. But I think they've stopped making now. And they were called Forget-Me-Not bears. Again, not big, I say big miniatures. I would say they're a lot made bigger sizes. But I suppose, look, he fits in a bag, so he's quite fun to take around, and he's got an infectious smile. Just look at that smile, so cute. I think the face details on bears, as I say, how you create them is amazing. The different expressions. I'm not an expert on dolls. I have no clue about dolls at all. But in relation to bears, I mean, I suppose dolls, porcelain heads. Are they moulded? I have no idea about how they make them.
Yes, a lot of them are molded. Mm-hmm.
You see, but you can't mould the bear face. They are made. If you think they are made, then they're stuffed. And I suppose how they're stuffed, and then the final features of the eyes and the nose and the mouth is what makes the character. So anyway, why don't we go over to the cabinet and just see a few more bears. Another one by Elizabeth Leggett. Just look at his cute overalls. I love these cute overalls. This is Theo. They all come with names. Just don't ask me every single one of them. A lot of the early bears, or sometimes you would say Edwardian time bears, always wore sailor suits. Look at this little one with his little sailor suit there. Again, different size. Do we have any more down here? Yes. Behave. Yeah, now this is one of my very favourites. I have... Oh, I'm told you to never say about favourites when they're around. But shh, 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 I won't say any more. Favourite. This is Celadon. And he reminds me of, you know, vintage Stife bears that I used to have. And he's got that old bear look about him. And he just sits in the palm of your hand. See, look. And he's just so sweet. So sweet. Look at him. They probably get a little bit squished in my bag when I take them around or my pocket. And I'll tell you a bit more about that. My advice is when you collect miniatures, always put them in a bag. Yes. I used to wear a lot of waistcoats when I was working, and I used to put them in my waistcoat pocket, like that, in your waistcoat. And it was kind of fun to walk around with a little bear in your waistcoat. Used to love that. But if you kept them in a bag, as in if you're a lady and you have a handbag, or if you're a man and you have a handbag, if you don't put them in a protective bag and you just put them in the bag, they can start to lose their fur. Wouldn't believe it, but I'll show you one that has done that. So I've learned from experience in collecting how you need to look after them when you're taking them around. You might also think about, well, if you take them around all the time, especially when they're around food, what happens if you have a little accident, such as they get head first in the ice cream or something? Well, luckily I haven't had that disaster just yet. But I think with these materials, you can only simply clean them by surface washing. You can't stick the whole bear under the tap, because they are stuffed, and they are made of vintage materials. Now, not all bears would be vintage materials. For example, this one's not vintage material. It is synthetic. Can you see the difference? Perhaps. Is that better in camera angle? These are vintage materials. You can see the difference. One is mohair, one is synthetic. Obviously, synthetic is easier to wash. I always laugh the fact that a lot of these little bears, if you look at them, in general, I think they are boys. You see? Boy, 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 boy. Boy. However, it dawned on me, someone said to me, well, what about the girl bears? And I said, they don't make them. I haven't seen any, but of course they do. And here's an example of one. Look, there you go. In her little dress. Now, I was a little bit apprehensive, really, when I first started collecting bears, about buying bears that were girls. It kind of was a bit, I felt a bit girly. Why on earth would I buy a bear that's a girl? Do you know? It's quite funny, that, isn't it? If you think about it, it's the whole. Yeah. It's the whole. What's the word? It's like boys have to wear blue and girls have to wear pink. Girls have to have a doll and boys have to have a ball. That sort of thing. And I'm like, I don't want to collect a girl bear. But then someone said to me, they get lonely otherwise, don't they, if you don't have some friends? So I said, okay, so I started collecting girl bears. I don't have many to go around. So what I do have, they're very popular amongst them. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to take you over to a cabinet over here. So tactical maneuver here, because I've got Rachel on an iPad and you guys are also on an iPad. So both hands, and I see what's going to happen. So excuse fingers. Oops. Here we go. Here we go.
Good job, Jena.
Here we go. Right. Now. Oops. If I take that off, put that there.
I can always edit this.
Now, here is a little cabinet that I have, and if you notice, I have a few little bears in the cabinet in each little section. So I kind of like cute things, and so over here I have some bear flowers, which I thought were absolutely hilarious. So these I bought in Hong Kong. Now Hong Kong and Japan and places like that always have these very cute things. And so it's an actual flower which is a bear. Like that. And it came as a little, oops, in a little gift wrap thing that we wanted to give to people. So anyway, so that's one of them. In there. I'll sort that out later. And as I say, I'm very lucky. People are very kind to me and send me presents. And this is one of them. I had a little polar bear angel, a polar bear angel. That was from Leslie, my friend Leslie in Amesbury. Yeah. I eat. I'm a foodie, so I have to have salt and pepper bear pots. So there. Now, I know. Here are some more of miniature bears. Now they're all a slightly larger size, but again, fantastic vintage materials and beautiful faces. He's very posh. His name is Dashwood Smythe. You can't get a posher name like that, Dashwood Smythe. And I was talking to the artist, and I said to her, "Oh, I'd really love a Sherlock Holmes bear." And bless my cotton socks, she came up with a bear with this type of material, which Sherlock Holmes wears as an overjacket and his hat. So she made a little suit out of him. And the most amazing thing is, if you look on the inside of his jacket, it even says Oxford Street, London. So the small details like that are fabulous. Absolutely adored that. So even his jacket says a little label on the inside with his cute little buttons. So Dashwood Smythe's very posh. He's been to the Mandarin Oriental for afternoon tea. Oh look, that's my friend Beverly. This was taken when we were at the.
Hi Beverly.
Yes, this is Beverly. Actually, Beverly sent this to me. This picture for
She
my
has
birthday.
great bears.
Yes, she has. And in fact, actually, in the picture is Petsy, and Petsy was mine. And at the time this picture was taken, Petsy was my bear, and Beverly loved Petsy. So when I felt that I wanted to move Petsy on, Beverly got first dibs. So he's now with Beverly. So, but it's a lovely photo at the very first 200 Years of Childhood fair. So that was like a lovely souvenir. So anyway, let's now work this out at how I make. So here we are at the cabinet. I'm very fortunate that I get sent beautiful pictures and presents of bears. And this little fellow here came all the way from Russia. He's an artist bear, or from the Ukraine, and he was made by Anna, who very kindly sent him to me as a present. Isn't he lovely? So then we move on and we come to my cabinet. So here is a cabinet full of miniatures, and I'm going to open the door so we can actually have a better look. Oh, here they are. So, hello everybody. Oh look, there's my merbear. Merbear, Luna. I just love where her shells are. That's hilarious. That's Luna. And this tiny, tiny, tiny one is by Louise Pearce, a little panda. And so it's always interesting to see how artist's work evolve. And what I mean by that is, for example, I have some early bears here by Paula Strethill-Smith and by Elizabeth Leggett, so the two main collectors, sorry, the two main makers I like to buy. And this is Auntie. Here she is. That's Auntie. She won't mind me pointing, but she is sitting on her deck chair by the seaside, and Auntie is a tiny little bit. Look at that face and her little hat. And this is a really early example of Elizabeth Leggett's work. The style, the accessories, the little face, look at the eyes. There you go, Auntie. And then this is a lovely early example of Paula Strethill-Smith's work. Look at his long nose. He's a centre seam bear, but he's got a big long nose. There we go, look at that profile. Again, he sits in the hand quite beautifully. This was a lovely gift from Elizabeth Shaw, my friend from Switzerland, who has really been on my collecting journey with me, because I met her at Huglitz and we became friends there. And ever since then we have been friends all those years now. And again, this is another early example of Paula Strethill-Smith's work. Again, another gift from Elizabeth Elizabeth Shaw. Look at his little sweet face. You see? And then you get to see how an artist's work evolves. So this is Old Wallace, later work by Paula Strethill-Smith. And these are some of the girl bears. Have a look at the ladies. So we have this bonny lass here in her little bonnet. Look at that face. Absolutely cute and sweet. And a little hat by Beth Leggett, another Elizabeth Leggett bear. Now this is a lovely little bear by Ingrid Schmidt from Ontario in Canada. Yes, so they're not all from England, but I'd say the majority that I have here are by various different makers. This lovely bear I bought at the Essex Bear Show by Anita Weller some years ago. I bought her for my mum actually, because I wanted to get her into collecting, but she doesn't like bears, so she sits in the cabinet here. And then this miniature is by Sarah Bears of Cambridge. Oh. This little bear here, it was made as a gift of first time to meet me by a maker in Hong Kong called Catherine, but she sadly passed away I think last year or the year before, so a little treasured gift there. And again, another, they're all different sizes and different brands, but look at their faces. What I love about them, oh, he's hiding, he's asleep, is all their different looks and expressions. Now Beverly, I mentioned my friend Beverly, who had my Petsy, and so Beth Leggett made me a replica of my Petsy. Look at those blue eyes, oh my gosh, look into my eyes. And it's a tipped Petsy, a copy of a Strife. Oops, it's heavy though, look at that. What a sound. That's because her bears tend to be quite heavily stuffed, whereas Paula's bears are much lighter, much lighter. Oh, and this is Sydney the snake Beth made me as a present. Hello. And this fun bear, look at that, in a teacup. I love my afternoon tea and my cup of tea. And this bear was made by Brenda Power, of in America. Cute little thing. Oops, nearly dropped the teacup. Try not to spill the tea with the bear. There we are. Oh dear, my dear, you must sit properly. It's not ladylike to sit like that, thank you. Now, another bear here. As a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, but some of you may know that I had a beautiful white vintage Steiff bear from 1905, which had his tag in his ear, and I gave a diamond collar to. His name was Monte Cristo, and I bought him at Christie's auction from the Paul Greenwood sale, and I sold him in 2014 in my sale, but Beth Leggett made me a replica, so I have a little memento on a smaller scale. So look, there's my version of Monte Cristo that I have, so I won't forget him ever. It's quite cute to have little mementos like that. And we were talking about clothing and different things what artists make. Well, this is a knitted jumper, off again by another Beth Leggett bear. Javier, his name is. And some more exquisite details on clothing here, and beautiful shoes of this bear by Paula Strethill-Smith, which now leads me to show you these lovely clowns. Oh look, someone's having ice cream. Haha. This is a bear by Heidi Dienstag in Germany, but these beautiful clowns here, see, look how small they are, look how big my finger looks. Woo! Anyway, here they are. These are the clown bears, all made with vintage materials, vintage rough, lovely cute pom-poms by Beth Leggett. So we then close this door and another open, so we then come over to these two. Look at these two. Love these shoes, love that beautiful face, and he's holding a rose. And I love his clothes. He's wearing a beautiful sash cummerbund on his pantaloons, and this is Lydia, little angel bear. She's just so girly, and I named her after my violin teacher Lydia, who passed in 2014, and she came just at the right time. Ooh. And some of you may know I just came back from Venice, and as a memento of Venice, Britta Ulohoff, amazing bear artist of nugget bears, I found this wonderful Venetian mask bear. Look at him there, his little mask. And I think, if I recall, he's made from Japanese art silk, beautiful material. Then here we go to dressed bears. Now these bears here are all by Paula Strethill-Smith, and I absolutely love the clothing that she makes and the shoes that her husband Simon makes as well. Look how cute they are. This one's called Mr. Pang. I don't know why he's called Mr. Pang. That's Mr. Darcy. Terribly posh is Mr. Darcy. Look at those clothes. Fantastic pantaloons. This is Georgina. She was actually my very first girl bear, but look at the detail of her clothing. The lace finish, her little face, beautiful. And then these two, these three here with their little ones with lace, and the other ones. I love this blue bear. I love the colour of his, and his clothes are just lovely. And this is Master Albert playing the violin in his Edwardian style sailor suit. So each bear has different character, and as I say, they're only tiny, and I like miniature things. here you can see I've got miniature Chinese instruments made of jade. And they just go fun with bears. So sometimes people ask about how do you accessorize with bears. Well, I think when you have, if you like miniature things and miniature details, then you can find accessories to sit with bears. I find actually dollhouse accessories very good. And I'll show you. I'll go back to this cabinet here. So we have a piano, a grand piano, but actually it's a cigarette lighter and an ashtray, and Cecil is inside the ashtray. He's not smoking, thank goodness, but there is the ashtray, believe it or not, of the cigarette lighter. And then I think you press this button here and that will make a spark. And I don't know whether you can see, but he's behind a little Chinese screen of Chinese style furniture. There's the table, dollhouse furniture. There's the table. Can you see the table? I'll put the camera in there. There's the table, and it came with chairs and things. And there's a little behind there. Hello. Oh, there's another bear looking at us. That was from present from Su Yi Tam of Su Yi Bears. And there is a little cabinet next to Sydney the snake. Oops, that's better. I'll put this little black bear back on top of the cabinet. So anyway, that is a little taster of some of my miniature bear collection that I have bought over the years. There they are. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed our little time together that we've had, and just with me showing you some of my little collection of miniature bears. Now I'm sure there's plenty of you out there who have got far more than I have, but this is just a taster of what I like to collect, and I wanted to share with you my passion of collecting these little bears. I hope you come back again to the Virtual Doll Convention, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Rachel. And you can, if you're interested in following me, you can contact me through my website or on Facebook. My website is jenapang.com, and I'm on Facebook as Jenapang or Jena Bear. Bye for now. Thanks, Rachel.
Bye. Thank you, Jena.
Bye.
Bye.